Hi, I'm Linda Payton. Let's talk about ways to change how we do what we do so it's good for our body, mind, and spirit. So let's start with the body. As a personal trainer and Pilates teacher, I've been taught specific ways to do movements, a specific alignment, form, symmetry, to help develop the body in a balanced way. When exercises and movement aren't done appropriately, it can put extra stress on tendons, ligaments, joints, and start wearing the body down. Doing something too challenging could also start wearing the body down. But then not doing enough could also make the body weaker. So there's a balance as far as the challenge of the activity, but also how the activity is done, what alignment and form are used. I know that Pilates changed the way that I have awareness of my body when I sit, stand, walk, play, whatever it is that I'm doing in life. I have this check in my mind, this blueprint of what the correct Pilates way to do the movement would be. Now let's talk about what might be good for the mind. As a life coach with a neuro-linguistic programming specialty and an energetic practitioner who's trained in things like mindfulness and meditation, I can tell you there are emotions that require a lot of energy for the mind and the body. I could think of a while ago when someone accidentally put a key in the front door and I thought someone was trying to break in. I was ready to get out of there. My heart rate spiked. I started really feeling like I had a lot of energy that was mobilized right in that moment because I was ready to get myself out. That is an example of something that mobilized a lot of energy, and then afterwards I was safe and I was able to recover from that situation. But sometimes people have constant thoughts or worries, and they're going through that every day. They're taking themselves up and down on an emotional roller coaster, which if you're trying to get from point A to point B, this up and down trajectory is a longer distance. The shorter distance between point A and point B that requires the least amount of energy is calm, steady pacing. And so that's kind of what I try to keep in my life is calm, steady, consistent habits and emotional experiences because it requires a lot less energy than the highs and lows of following an emotional experience. In our mind, we also have our thoughts, some of which we've created as patterns and habits in our mind. Let me give an example. So, doing dishes. For one person, it may be a calming, relaxing task. For another person, it may be a stressful burden. But there may be exactly the same dishes, exactly the same amount of time it takes to do the task. It's just that the attitude and the thoughts and the internal experience of the person is different. So this is kind of where we have a choice of how we're going to do what we do. How are we going to respond to a situation? This is also where neurolinguistic programming tools or mindfulness or meditation or other practices that help us cultivate and become aware of our thought patterns and our internal experiences can be helpful. When we're doing something, are we actually doing the task in the present moment? Or are our thoughts in our mind in the future? Or are they back in the past? A flow state is when we get into that present moment when we're doing a task. So for the mind, we can think some about what thoughts we're having when we're doing a task. Or the emotions. What emotions are we having attached to a task? Activities where there's this mind-body connection, such as Pilates. Train that awareness and that connection between the mind and the body. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to define spirit as meaning, purpose, our beliefs, and values. Who were we? Who are we? Who do we want to become? And how is what we're doing aligning with our meaning and purpose? For a person who's calm doing the dishes and maybe even having joy in what they do, they probably are finding some meaning and purpose in the task. Maybe that's keeping a clean environment or caring for themselves and their family. For someone who doesn't have the same attitude, has different feelings about the dishes, maybe there's some things that could be worked through so that the task could then align with value and meaning in their life. So spirit is one that gives us internal purpose, internal meaning, and that internal experience, even though we haven't changed anything on the outside, tends to make people happier. Life coaching and the neurolinguistic programming tools can be really helpful in sorting out what are your values, what are your beliefs, what is important to you, who are you, and who do you want to be? Those kind of questions are really nice to sort out in coaching so that you can have more of a direction and vision for how you want to move forward in life. So I hope this might give you some ideas for how to do things you're already doing in a way that might be better for you. Better for your body, your mind, or your spirit. I offer online wellness services, including Pilates, personal training, life coaching with a neurolinguistic programming specialty, and meditation and mindfulness. I offer these in the United States. If you'd like to learn more about working with me, I'll have information in the description. I hope everyone moves and lives well.